A killer who didn't just murder, he taunted the police, daring them to catch him. From 1968 to 1969, Northern California was terrorized by a shadowy figure who called himself the Zodiac. Each brutal attack was followed by chilling letters, sent directly to newspapers, filled with cryptic messages and threats. Zodiac's victims weren't just numbers to him. They were pawns in his twisted game. What made this killer unique? It wasn't just the violence, but the mind games. Zodiac's ciphers taunted detectives, promising clues to his identity, but no one could solve them. He thrived on fear, enjoying the chaos he created while remaining unseen. As bodies piled up, the police were left chasing a ghost, always one step behind. Who was this faceless predator, and why did he play with the lives of so many? Let's dive into the story of a killer who's still one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. December 20th, 1968. A quiet night on Lake Herman Road turns deadly when high school sweethearts David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen are parked, enjoying a peaceful evening. Without warning, an unknown figure approaches their car. In a matter of seconds, the peaceful moment becomes a nightmare. David is shot in the head at point-blank range, collapsing instantly. Betty tries to run, but she doesn't get far. 5 shots ring out, and her body is found lying in the dirt. This is the first known attack of the Zodiac Killer, a shocking, senseless double murder. The crime scene leaves few clues behind, and the police have no idea they're dealing with a predator who's just getting started. 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau sit in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park. It's a holiday, a night for fireworks. But as they relax, a car pulls up behind them. A man steps out, shining a flashlight into their car. Without warning, he opens fire. Darlene is hit multiple times, and Michael, despite his severe injuries, survives. Michael's description of the shooter, a white male, mid-20s to early 30s, gives police their first glimpse of the Zodiac. But once again, the killer disappears into the night, leaving behind nothing but fear and confusion. Less than a month after the Blue Rock Springs attack, Zodiac makes his first move to taunt the police. On August 1st, 1969, he sends 3 identical letters to the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter contains 1/3 of a cipher, which the Zodiac demands be published on the front page. He threatens to kill more people if his instructions aren't followed. These letters, written in cold, detached language, send chills through the entire region. It's the beginning of a game, a psychological game that Zodiac controls with terrifying precision. The letters contain a cipher, later known as the Z408 cipher, which cryptographers race to solve. After days of tension, a couple from Salinas finally cracks the code. The message is chilling. I like killing people because it is so much fun. It's a cold admission that Zodiac takes pleasure in his murders. But despite the breakthrough, the police are no closer to identifying the killer. The cipher leaves out one critical detail: Zodiac's identity. The frustration mounts as Zodiac continues to toy with law enforcement. September 27, 1969. A sunny day at Lake Berryessa turns into a horror scene as Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard are enjoying a picnic by the lake. A man wearing a black hood approaches them, a gun in hand, and a strange crosshair symbol on his chest. He ties them up and begins stabbing them repeatedly. Cecilia dies from her injuries, while Brian miraculously survives. Brian's testimony provides the police with the first detailed description of Zodiac's appearance. But even with this new information, Zodiac escapes once again, leaving fear in his wake. October 11th, 1969. In the heart of San Francisco, Zodiac strikes again. His victim, Paul Stein, a taxi driver, is shot point-blank in the head. After the killing, Zodiac calmly wipes the taxi to remove fingerprints. Several witnesses see him leave the scene, but there's a critical moment that allows him to slip away. As police respond to the murder, 2 officers, Donald Fuch and Eric Zelms, are dispatched to the area. They spot a man walking calmly just blocks from the crime scene, short, stocky, and wearing glasses. But due to a radio miscommunication, they're under the impression they're looking for a black suspect. The officers question the man briefly, but the conversation is superficial. They let him go without realizing they've just let the Zodiac Killer walk away into the night. This moment, where Zodiac escapes by sheer luck, becomes one of the most frustrating errors in the case. Not only had the police been so close, but Zodiac himself would later mock them for this in one of his letters, cementing his ability to outwit the law. Following the Stein murder, Zodiac continues to mock law enforcement. In letters sent to newspapers, he brags about his ability to evade capture and includes a swatch of Stein's bloody shirt as proof of his involvement. The police are left scrambling, unable to match wits with a killer who seems to be enjoying the game far more than they can stop him. Zodiac's obsession with ciphers deepens. In the months following the murder, he sends more letters filled with cryptic symbols. One of these, known as the Z340 cipher, would remain unsolved for over 50 years, adding to the mystery and intrigue surrounding the killer. The complexity of these ciphers keeps investigators and amateur sleuths alike baffled. Over the years, several suspects emerge, but none are definitively linked to the murders. Arthur Lee Allen becomes a primary suspect due to circumstantial evidence, but DNA testing later rules him out. Others, including Ross Sullivan and Richard Gaikowski, also come under scrutiny, but the identity of Zodiac remains elusive. By the early 1970s, Zodiac's letters start to taper off, and the killings seemingly stop. The police are left with more questions than answers. Did Zodiac die, or did he simply stop? The lack of closure haunts both investigators and the public, leaving one of the most famous killers in history to fade into the shadows. As the Zodiac case becomes public, the media turns the killer into a national sensation. Newspapers print his letters, and people across the country follow the chilling story. Zodiac's ability to manipulate the press and public opinion further fuels his notoriety. He thrives on the attention, feeding off the fear he creates while always staying hidden in plain sight. Zodiac continues to taunt the police with more letters, riddles, and threats. His boldness grows as he claims responsibility for other unsolved murders. Investigators are inundated with false leads and fake confessions, making it harder to separate truth from fiction. Zodiac remains untouchable, always one step ahead. By the mid-1970s, Zodiac seems to vanish. The killings stop, and no more letters are sent. Despite countless hours spent on the case, law enforcement is no closer to finding him. Zodiac slips away, leaving behind a trail of terror and unanswered questions. His disappearance is as mysterious as his crimes. Decades later, advances in forensic science, particularly DNA testing, bring renewed hope. Investigators revisit Zodiac's letters, hoping modern technology can provide the answers that eluded them before. Cold case units and amateur sleuths alike dive back into the mystery, eager to solve one of America's greatest unsolved cases. In the early 2000s, DNA evidence from one of Zodiac's letters is tested. Unfortunately, the sample is too degraded to provide a conclusive match. Still, the case sparks renewed interest, and investigators remain hopeful that future advancements in DNA technology will finally crack the mystery. Even though Zodiac has never been caught, his case remains a source of fascination. Books, documentaries, and films keep the story alive, ensuring that the Zodiac Killer stays in the public consciousness. The questions still linger. Who was he, and why did he stop? Many theories about Zodiac's identity continue to circulate, with suspects ranging from serial killers to disgruntled military personnel. Yet none of these leads have ever been definitively proven. The mystery endures, keeping the case alive in both professional and amateur crime-solving circles. Zodiac's legacy isn't just the lives he took, but the fear he spread and the psychological grip he held over a terrified region. He remains a symbol of unsolved horror, a killer who outwitted the best minds of law enforcement and vanished without a trace. Zodiac remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. The case serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous killers are the ones who never get caught. Until his identity is uncovered, Zodiac will continue to haunt the minds of investigators and the public alike. If you enjoyed uncovering this mysterious case with us, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more gripping stories from Unexplored Case. Hit the notification bell so you won't miss any updates as we continue our journey into the darkest corners of unsolved crimes. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next case.